Let's take this as the last example under derivative of function, derivative of trigonometric functions, derivative of trigonometric function. This is the last example. And after this one, we are going to move on derivative of what? Of logarithmic functions. Okay? Now, how do we go about this? So we have just say let your y be this expression which is called square s cube. Okay, so what the next thing tell us that put what? Put your z to be this guy which is x cube, then your u to be cot what? Cot z. Then what is your y itself? Your y is going to be u raised to power what? Power 2. Now apply the chain rule formula, which is the y the s equals to, we have the y the what? The u, then times the u the what? The z, then times what? The z over what? Over the x. That is when you cancel out this one. When you cancel out this one to give you the y the x. Now we need the y the x, the y the u rather. We need the y the u. What is the y the u? Differentiate this one with respect to u. It's going to give you 2u. Okay, then what is the next thing? We need the u the z. And what is the u the z? The u the z, you are differentiating this one with what? With z. Now when you differentiate cos z, it's going to give you minus cosec square z. When you differentiate this one, it will give you minus cosec square z. Then what is the next thing? We need what? We need the z over what? The x. Now we are differentiating this one with respect to x, it will give you 3x squared. Okay, now we want to put everything inside the formula. Let's put everything inside the formula. We want to put everything here. So what is the y? The y the u. The y the u is what? The y the u is 2u. Then dot or times the u the z. The u the z is what? Is minus cosec square z. Then dot or times the z the x, which is what? Which is 3x squared. Okay, you can bring out minus, this one will give you minus 2, multiply this together, it will give you 6x squared, then this u, then we have cosec square z. And that is not the final answer. Now what is the next thing? We have minus 6x squared. Now what is your u? He said our u is what? Our u is called z. Then we now have cosec what? Cosec square z. And that is not the final answer. We have minus 6x squared. Then we have cot. Now what is z? From the beginning, we have z is what? As x raised to power 3. Then we have cosec square what? Z is what? X raised to power 3. So that is how to find the function which is y equal to cot square s cube. So it will give you this one. Please always follow for more. Thank you.